Hi everyone, today I want to talk about moon in the fifth house. Basically, how does this aspect play out in your chart and how it affects your personality? So keep watching. Everyone, so we're going to talk about the moon in the fifth house today. So the moon represents the very core part of your personality. It represents your emotions. It represents your subconscious mind. It's also a part of yourself that not everybody gets to see. It's only people who are very close to you who would be able to see your moon sign and the energies play out. That being said, the fifth house rules fun. It rules things that we do for fun, leisure, recreation, entertainment. It rules romance, like light-hearted romance, flirting, things of that nature. It also rules kids. So when you have the moon in the fifth house, you have a planet or like a luminary which represents such a core part of your personality sitting in a house that has to do with all these themes of life. Um, so you're most likely going to be the kind of person who loves to express themselves, especially through their creative endeavors. I say this because the fifth house is traditionally ruled by Leo, and Leo is a very childlike energy. It's very, very creative. The fifth house has to do with creativity and hobbies, especially. So, and especially because the moon represents all the things that you need to feel okay, like emotionally being in a state of well-being. You need to have hobbies, that's for sure. I mean, that can be said of anybody in life, like everybody needs hobbies. But for you, especially if you have the moon in the fifth house, you definitely need some kind of a creative outlet, and the hobby that you have must be able to express your authenticity or your creativity in some way. So this could be through arts, this could be through dance, this could be through painting, anything basically that helps you channel that creative side of yourself and express that part of you. Now, individuality is also a very common theme here. Like moon and fifth house people, they not only like to express themselves creatively, but they also like to be known for their individuality. Very much like their sister sign Aquarius, because we are talking about the Leo Aquarius axis here. So you do want to be known for your individuality, but someone who has made a mark, you do have a flair for being a bit dramatic because Leo, it is known to be a fairly dramatic sign. It is a fire sign. And when you express yourself, especially when you're in a romantic relationship, you can express yourself through very dramatic displays of affection because Leo is like that. It's a very childlike energy. Um, it's very grand gestures of affection. So when you love someone, you are going to express that in a very open, um, very grand way, which is going to make the other person feel simultaneously overwhelmed and also appreciated at the same time. Now, that being said, moon in the fifth house people do like attention. They do like the limelight because again we're talking about Leo here, and that's an energy that does like attention. But again, it's going to depend on your moon sign. Like you could have a love-hate relationship with that kind of attention because you will get it, that's for sure. Like you are going to get the attention because you have your moon sitting in the fifth house. But if you are a moon sign that is quite private in nature, like if you're a moon in Scorpio, moon in Capricorn, or just a low-key sign that doesn't really like a lot of attention in general, then this is going to be a bit of a challenge because, like for example, if you have the moon in Pisces, then you may like to drift away for sometimes, and you may want to be by yourself. Like you may be an introvert, but because you've got the moon in the fifth house, you do end up getting a lot of attention and a lot of people wanting to get to know you because, like I said, Leo, it's ruled by the sun and it represents radiating that energy of everybody wanting to be close to you, like because you radiate that warmth and love and just that beautiful charisma that is very, very common in Leo energy. You love to be in love because again we're talking about the fifth house here. The fifth house has to do with romance and flirting and the fun and the spark of romantic relationships. This is very different from the seventh and the eighth house, which has to do more with long-term relationships and like commitment and that sort of thing, sharing assets and that more serious elements of a relationship. But the fifth house is more fun, it's more light-hearted romance, it's flirting, it's the initial stages of romance, like the first spark, that rush of feeling that you get when you meet someone. That's all very you. And you may love to be in love, like you may love the idea of being in love, so much so that you may find yourself having been in love with many people. So because you may get bored as well, like you may get bored once the initial quote unquote honeymoon phase dies down. You may feel that spark is missing, and so you may move on to another person because you love to be in love, like I said. And for example, if you have a moon in Libra, then it's going to be a double burst of these energies, because Libra, again, it's a relationship oriented sign. And if you have it in the fifth house, you are a die-hard romantic. Like you love the idea of courting and dating and being in a relationship, and that spark of meeting someone, talking to someone, all of that. And it's also to do with flirting. So for you to be in love with someone, you do need that spark, that exchange of that like two-way energy of flirting, witty banter, that kind of thing. You really like that thing. And you may like displays of affection, like from your partner as well. Like you don't like dry responses, or just somebody who's very cold and aloof. That's going to be a very big put off for you, because you yourself are so over the top when it comes to your displays of affection. You do like someone who is as enthusiastic about things as you are. So that's something to keep in mind. Now, like I said before, hobbies are very important for you, especially creative outlets of expression are going to be absolutely key for your emotional well-being. So those are some of the main highlights of the moon in the fifth house. Now, I do want to say the fifth house also represents children. Now, this is interesting because it doesn't necessarily mean that you love children or you're going to have children or any of that. It just refers to the kind of relationship that you would have with children in general. So, like I say always in all of my videos, it depends on the whole chart. You could have Chiron sitting here in the fifth house, and that's going to completely change the course of whatever we are talking about. Because if you have Chiron conjunct the moon in the fifth house, then it changes the trajectory of everything that's going on in your chart. But just the moon in the fifth house as a standalone placement, if you have kids, then you are going to be very intuitively connected to them and to whatever they require at the moment, because it's the fifth house we're talking about, and it's the moon. The moon is all about nurturing, mothering, nourishment. It's very mothering energy. It's Cancerian energy. So when you have moon in the fifth house, you are going to be very instinctively responsive to what your children need. You may literally put yourself in their shoes and figure out what exactly they need, and you may take it from there. So you are very good at parenting, and because of this placement. But that being said, it doesn't always mean that the person is going to have kids or is always going to love kids or any of that. It just means it just shows the relationship that they're going to have with kids in general, if they choose to have them. That being said, now fifth house also has to do with fun and recreation and leisure. Things that we do to get away from the stress of everyday life. So for you, because you've got the moon there, like you could have a sun sign in, let's say, a sign like Capricorn, right? Which is all about productivity, efficiency, very practical matters in life. But because your moon is in the fifth house, when you unwind or relax, or when you want to just connect to your emotional self, you are going to want to turn to things that are fun, that bring you joy, that bring that spark in your life. So, things like holidays or music, art, going out, dating. Like I said, you love being in love, so you may have a lot of relationships. You may be very popular as well, because like I said, it's that Leo shine and charisma that we're talking about here. So you may be very popular. Like you may be a lot of people may be interested in you in terms of a relationship. But like I said, if you have the moon in a more private sign like Scorpio, Capricorn, or like Pisces, you may not always want to put yourself out there like that. But So like I said, in those cases you may have sort of a love-hate relationship with the limelight, but in general you love putting yourself out there. I will say that, like, because this is the fifth house. You are all heart, Leo rules, the heart center, so it's all about love. And so for you there is nothing greater than love, and so you do like to show your affection through grand gestures. You do like to be there for your partner and just enjoy the love and the romance that is there. But again, it doesn't it's very different from the seventh and eighth house, which is more serious themes and long-term commitment, that sort of thing. This is more, like I said, the fun element in romance. So you may like to date a lot, you may like to have a lot of relationships, that kind of thing. Yeah, so that's what I have for you, Moon in the fifth house. If you like this video, do give it a thumbs up. Your likes help my videos stay relevant in the YouTube algorithm and also help me keep delivering more content for you, my lovely subscribers. And if you'd like to book a reading with me, you can drop me a message on Facebook or email. The links are in the description box below, and I'll get back to you soon. Thanks a lot for watching. I'll see you in my next video. Bye bye.